back up. But we'll get ready to get rolling here. So just going through, I'm Vu, the founder of GoldMint. I think most of you guys already know me, but for anyone who doesn't, I've been running this protocol with my co-founder Doc and the rest of the team here for a little over 3 months now, and been having a lot of fun doing it. And we'll be talking about what we do a little bit more today.
I guess that's my cue for an introduction. Sorry, guys. How's everybody doing? Most of y'all know me. I'm Doc. I'm fortunate enough to be co-founder of GoldMint with Vu. As a lot of you know, I help lead a group of our angel investors. I'm also in charge of helping to keep oversight and operations of the DAO. So, as usual, thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, and I'm Monkey, the head director of operations, kind of help run a lot of the different things within the protocol, from community to, I don't know, whatever Vu and Doc does and everything else. It's a little bit of everything for me.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Crip Zom. I'm kind of all over the place, depending on what I'm doing. I just kind of help coordinate things that people don't really know about until they're shown to the public. But I'm here to facilitate certain partnerships and work on NFTs and collabs and helping out with the protocol as well, and just suggestions and help kind of design certain things. And I'm just kind of around to help in whatever way I can and help connect the people that I know in DeFi as well to GoldMint. So, yep, that's me.
Yep, and a quick shout out to Ness, who's down there in the audience. She's running the recording for this evening. She's our project coordinator and kind of keeps the rest of us on track and making sure everything's getting chipped off the list at a good pace. So very lucky to have her with us as well. So let's kind of jump right into it. I'll do a quick rundown. Most of you guys know what GoldMint Finance is. For anybody who's new or maybe hearing about it for the first time online, we're a seigniorage protocol on Ethereum. That means we use an algorithm to try to maintain a certain price. And the price that we try to maintain with our token is the price of Pax G. And we picked that token for a very specific reason. And we'll do, a quick talk on that. But most of you guys know that that's because it is pegged to gold. And we thought that there was a real opportunity to use these mechanisms of seigniorage and algo stables and not just peg to another L2 or something. There's a lot of duplication in this space, people kind of repeating the same use case, but kind of look for something new, and not just because it was pegged to Pax G that represents gold, but because of what that represents in general. The concept that you can use an algorithm to help represent the price of any kind of tangible asset in the real world on the blockchain. And then that's what we are. We're an experiment in DeFi to try to succeed at that mission. And we're the first of our kind. And that comes with some really great benefits. We also have the first DAO, and Doc will obviously be talking about that. Its goal is to seek Pax G, the first DAO on the blockchain that's mission is to acquire gold on the blockchain. I think that's just really impressive and unique. So the way we do this is a 3-token ecosystem. We have our GoldMint token, our GoldMint shares token, and our bond GoldMint token. Each one of them complements the other, and each one we go out of our way to support in a unique way from what other protocols do. So we have GoldMint, our peg token, and that we're always trying to get to match the price of Pax G, and we're actually just working our way into kind of a new peg campaign that we're trying to get set up here. Goes in conjunction with the new UI that we're rolling out that we'll be talking about. But we're always going to look at GoldMint first and do as much as we can to support that first. So you're going to see nice rewards for GoldMint holders throughout our ecosystem. And a lot of those rewards come in the version of the share token, the share GoldMint. And that's such a valuable token in our ecosystem because when we print and when we are overpegged, it's printed to the holders of share GoldMint. The way these algo stables work, they don't just issue new tokens when their price is high to anyone at random, but it's based on your staking of those share tokens. So it's always good early in a protocol to try to acquire those by participating in the farms or, other aspects of the protocol in a healthy way and earn those share, reward style tokens. Then we also have bond GoldMint, the bond token, which burns a GoldMint and helps reduce our supply when we're trading under the price that we seek. And we're in that stage now. So you'll see us doing a lot of things to support bond GoldMint. We have a partnership with Olympus Pro to have discounted bond GoldMint available. We have a bond GoldMint single staking pool. So we do a lot with that. So we use those 3 tokens, and we've added on a couple new features, and we have some other ones coming out that we'll be talking about. But that includes currently we had a round of GoldMint and bond GoldMint nodes, and that is still going on. The first round of 1,500 did sell out. It was a big success, but those guys are still in there every day, seeing their rewards grow. So it's been a great experience so far with that, and there are more nodes to come. You guys may have heard me talk. We have share nodes upcoming. We're starting to work on the development of that, and those are going to be a lot of fun. We're not just copy and pasting the code from the GoldMint bond GoldMint nodes. It's going to be gamified. It's a kind of a gold mine theme where you can see if you can win and mine some extra gold and kind of build out your gold mine in a way that'll get you some extra rewards by adding extra resources and tools and things like that. And there'll be some fun aspects too, some chances for some bigger rewards and, some things that you can try there. So we have that stuff coming out. We have a lot coming out with NFTs. Both our own are coming out. You guys have probably seen in our UI. We already have the mint ready to go. We're kind of just waiting for a couple things to line up and fall into place. But you'll be hearing an announcement about the date on that pretty soon. So we have that coming out, some partnership NFTs coming out, and are always working on things behind the scenes for you guys. So that'll give you a great rundown of the gist of who we are. One thing I always like to do here is kind of let Doc jump in and tell you guys a little bit about why our DAO is special. I feel like we've stepped away from that since the beginning. And one thing I want to do at this AMA, it's easy to run through kind of the rundown. I know a lot of you guys know it, but sometimes we forget as we work on these new features and get excited about the NFTs and get excited about the nodes or get worn down by the issues with the UI or, having a day where the price action's not where you want it to be and things like that. You can sometimes forget what the dream is and what the mission is of the protocol. And our DAO is such a huge part of that. So I'd like him to just be able to give you guys a quick reminder of just how unique and fortunate we are to have the DAO we have and to have him handling it for us.
Yeah, thanks, Vu. Absolutely. Glad to comment on this. Vu and I were speaking before the AMA tonight, and both of us were like, yeah, let's just sort of go back and rewind and bring it back to some of the earlier things that we talked about, the core and the fundamentals of GoldMint. And obviously, as Vu said, the DAO is one of them. So I think ideally, as I've said before, the DAO is really going to function in its main purpose to twofold, right? Number one, to acquire more PAX G as time goes on. And then number two, which actually is the primary objective more than anything, to support the protocol in an ongoing and consistent manner. So how do we best do this? These are things that Vu and I are in discussion with all the time. And as time goes on, the DAO, or I like to call it more the war chest than anything else, continues to build up even more. And as I like to say, sort of stacking firewood more than anything else, so that whenever we need it, it's going to be there. I think a key example of this is recently just with Liquid Capital and the commitment that we made through the GoldMint community was unbelievable. And there's a lot of that kickbacks that's going to be coming back. That's going to be put to work by the DAO, and I think all of the community members will see this in the upcoming days, weeks, and months as we move forward. I think the other thing always to keep in mind, and it's easy to forget about, but our war chest, our DAO, as we continue to grow and expand our protocol, and as we get into potentially other types of commodities, they can be centralized with one DAO. So one DAO can really go to work for the entire protocol and the entire community. So if any of you ever have any questions directly about how that's being handled, what it's being put to use to. The other thing, if any of you ever have any suggestions, we have an amazing community and we always love to hear from everybody. So hopefully, Vu, that touched on the points you thought was prudent.
Yeah. It's couldn't have said it better myself. So some of that is a reminder for some of you who've been in here, but it's something that is good to touch on, because what we've realized is that when you set out on a mission, you find a community that mission resonates with. That's why a lot of you are here, because you like the idea of what we're working on. And what we've seen in this space is recently we've seen teams that really weren't on board with their own mission. They were in it for the short term, not for the long haul. And they were in it for themselves and not for the community. So I just thought it was like kind of a good time to go back and just remind everyone what the purpose of this protocol is. And then remind you also that not just Doc and I, but this entire team is here to make this thing a success. We purposely set this protocol up with 2-year emissions. Monkey will sometimes talk about Snowy Owl, which purposefully set themselves up with 1 month emissions of their share reward token so that they could offer the highest APRs, but knowing that their system was going to collapse in just 30 days. We took an approach to set it up with 2 years to be able to build, and then immediately started working on the ideas that Doc just talked about how to make sure we had the sustainability even past that point. I'm proud to say that there is definitely no other seniorage protocol that has done that. Not the OGs, not the biggest ones that you can think of. We are unique in that fashion. And it's very important, because if you're here and you're here to participate with us for the long run, and we're asking you to do that, we have to have that plan. And it's not just having the plan, but it's having a team now. We've been here for over 3 months. We've been here on good days and bad days. We came out of Genesis at 0.01 peg. There's nothing that can happen out there that can shake this team, that's going to make Doc or I, feel like we would walk away or something like that. And it's so sad that has to be said. But just seeing, people who were in the circle of trust and things like that recently with Liquid Capital, it's a good reminder that you want to be able to notice that your team's in it for the long haul. I talked in the Twitter spaces last night. Look for the little things. One thing we've been working on so hard for the last month and a half is revising the UI. That's something that we feel like is so important for our community so that they have a better overall user experience. And that's, they're small things, but you want to go out there and look for the team that's willing to invest in not just like rolling out a new feature that's going to make some revenue or some profits for them, but is going to help make what they've already released even better. So I wanted to, take a minute to talk about, the original mission, but just remind you guys that we're going to be here for this mission for the long haul. We purposely set this protocol up to have 2 years of emissions and then a definitive plan for what we were going to do to keep it rolling after that. And that plan is obviously to use the PAX-G earnings of the DAO, not in a distributed fashion where we start chipping away at them after 2 years, but like an endowment to replace the shares. We have this time. We have these partners in this position of strength as the only DAO that's seeking to acquire blockchain gold for at the moment. And we're going to use that to grow our holdings and grow our revenue so that we have those synthetic gold holdings and that we also have yield. And then after the 2 years, that yield is not going to go to just adding more PAX-G to the pool, but it's going to go to issuing a dividend style token that'll represent 1-to-1 those gold-backed tokens. We won't have a vault in London like PAX-G full of gold, but we'll have a vault in a cold wallet with PAX-G in it. The same thing with that. And then that's going to be able to be distributed to the participants to replace those shares. And it's not going to be done by removing the GoldMint or the PAX-G, but by taking the yield every day, still adding a little bit to our PAX-G holdings and continually growing that synthetic gold holding that the DAO has, but also having that large percentage of the DAO's yield on its what will be considerable holdings at that time and getting that back to the community. So that's how we're going to replace the share tokens. And as we continue to talk to you guys, you'll learn that there will be room for that DAO to have even more impressive holdings. I can assure you this is not the only metals or commodity related token that we're going to release. So you're going to see a world where that DAO, is just adding and adding those valuable assets for you guys for the future. And it's just something that's really unique, and having that type of DAO and having this type of team, not to do a self plug, but I think is a real position of strength for GoldMint Finance. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about Trust Doc. I know you're in some of the protocols that have had some. I don't want to go too far into it, but if you'd like to jump in, that'd be awesome.
Let's get it. Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Monkey knows I don't hold back. That's why I love him. But no, I think Vu said the key word. I want to talk about trust, and I want to start this off that all of you here listening to me from my mouth to your ears. If there's one thing I can guarantee you, it's the integrity of myself and of Vu and of our core team. You have that promise and that commitment from us forever, no matter what, and that we won't quit and we won't stop and we're not going to sell anything out. Let me rewind this a little bit. So most of you all, I'm sure, are familiar with recently what happened with the whole Titan orbital debacle and liquid capital. I want to speak to this as an investor in Titan and somebody who was really taken aback by what happened and what manifested and in the manner in which these folks conducted themselves. And in situations where you're put in a position of ultimate trust and responsibility, and you let that down. And I can't tell you how many times I've spoken about this to Vu and to Monkey and Cripsom over the last weeks, that just being appalled. And the other thing that appalled me was I've seen so many messages from people that were distraught and upset because and basically said, I'm out of crypto and I'm out of DeFi. And it wasn't because they lost money. It was because the trust was broken. And it's paramount importance to me and to Vu and the rest of our team that all of you know that will never, ever happen with GoldMint and our leadership. We are committed to this 100% forever, no matter what happens. And we're not going to quit. And we're always going to do what's right for the community and not for ourselves. So there's all the talk about getting back to PEG and NFTs and where we're at. The most important thing that you all know is that you can trust us, and you have my word on that. And we are here for you. And no matter what happens, we will not quit and we will not stop, and GoldMint will not fail. And you guys can probably hear this is pretty passionate to me. I believe in this deeply. So it was really important to have the opportunity to tell this to all of you in our community. And please spread this word, right? It's what makes GoldMint GoldMint, and it's what makes our community amazing. So let me just sort of end my diatribe here on number one. I thank you to all of you for your commitment to us, and then my personal commitment and Team GoldMint's commitment to you to never let all of you down from a trust or an integrity standpoint. We will be solid as a rock.
Yeah, thanks, Doc. Really well said, and it needed to be said. It's been a tough last couple weeks for a lot of people in this space. Really appreciate it. So we can jump over to some of the things that you guys want to hear about Alpha. I don't want to just be serious. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we have coming out. I can jump on the share nodes real quick for anyone who's missed it. So our share nodes are going to be kind of a gold mine style game where you can purchase a gold mine with a set number of shares. Everything's not finalized, so I don't have the exact numbers. The coding's not complete, but you're going to be able to purchase a gold mine with a set number of shares, and we're also going to work some chances into this game. So for a fraction of the price, you might be able to buy some land and see if there happens to be a gold mine on it. Now, you may or may not get it. It'll be at that discounted price. So you may get one for, substantially less than the regular gold mine cost, but you may go for that and it may not may not have one in that piece of land. So it's going to be things like that are available, but not mandatory. So you can choose to take chances and have some fun for some boosted yield or for some lower costs, to entry or things like that. Or you can play it the safe route. It's going to have options. There's going to be different ways to kind of play through the gold mine share node game, however you think is best. And each thing is going to add to your yield when done successfully. We're going to have different things that you can add on to your gold mine. So, different tools that you can buy that will increase your yield, that'll have different strengths or importance, or, shovels and picks and mine carts and things like that. And then you're also going to we'll keep kind of working in these chances, maybe like a chance to steal one of the tools and get that increased yield for free. But if you get busted, you might lose some type of reward. So we're going to work in the chance to kind of keep adding to that gold mine and building it up to produce more and more yield, but also add some gamified fun aspects where you can kind of choose how aggressive or how safe you want to play it. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun for the community. We are also looking at what our next round of GoldMint nodes or bond GoldMint nodes is going to look like. We had a really successful first round of those. 1,500 sold out, and they've been producing well. They're really unique because it's a great way to get GoldMint yield even when the mint isn't printing. So in most protocols, you really don't have the opportunity to earn the core peg token when you're under peg. But with these nodes, we've opened that up. So we're going to want to find a way to get some more of those out there for you guys as well. And then Krypton, would you like to jump in on some of the NFT collabs? I think some of this stuff's going to be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I've been in conversation with kind of both of our collabs here in the last couple days, but I just recently talked to Jesus about the tacos. So those will be basically we'll do the reveal of them, the rest of them on after our grape NFT collab launches. So or goes to is ready to mint. So that will be 2 days after our UI launch is when we're going to do the grape NFT minting. As far as price goes for those, we're still discussing it because they're super gonna have a pretty good rarity to these NFTs. So they'll have a lot of utility other than just a picture. It's gonna be pretty neat. They're gonna have airdrops from both protocols. I don't know what's going to happen with the future utility of them. Me and LB have been talking a little bit about what to do potentially in the future. I've mentioned a couple things to him, and I can't talk about it, but I can tell you that these will be pretty rare. That we're going to have 40 of these NFTs. I think that's what the number we came up with was around 40 of them would be the VIP part of it. So they're going to be like part of a VIP club, these NFTs, but there's going to be 40 of them that are going to be given away from us, and they're kind of handpicked from Grape community and from GoldMint community. And this is basically going to be us saying, hey, we see you guys, kicking ass. And I think it's a discounted NFT mint price for these VIPs. So the 40 of those will have a discount. And the rest of them, I mean, obviously you have to be whitelisted to get these NFTs. So as far as getting a whitelist spot, you're going to be kind of tough. So I plan to have a call with LB as soon as he's gets back to me. I'm waiting for a DM back from him. I know he's extremely busy with what's going on. And then we can talk a little bit further about the rest of it. But I know that if we had to make a decision and the UI dropped, say tomorrow or whatever, we'd be fine. We still have 2 days to finish the basically cutting the lawn. So we don't have there's no worries there. Contracts are done. We're ready to go. So be looking for those. Those are going to be the reason I kind of focus a lot on these is because I spent a lot of time on them myself with the graphics and basically with kind of the whole thing in general, because I had originally started out in grape, and then that's how I found out about GoldMint. So it was pretty cool to be the one to facilitate this and get to know the great team a little bit more too. It's kind of got me to be able to be in contact with LB a little bit more freely and learn a little bit more about him as well. So be a good time to be in both of these communities for sure. And if you guys have any questions on them, we can answer them here in a minute. But as of as for the tacos, they're gonna be pretty rare. There's only 5 of them, and I set the floor price when I got one from LHB, and that one was, I think I paid $1,000 for it. So that was the floor price for them. But these things are worth a hell of a lot more than that, in my opinion, because of what they're going to be, what the utility of these is going to be in the future. So I'm pretty excited for these. There's only 5 of those, and that community has some really big plans, and I know for a fact that here I would just say you really need to just keep your eyes on those guys because they got some big stuff coming, um, and they're great. They have a great community, and all their developers seem to be really good. And I know that both of them over there, Jesus and Leonidas, they're both good guys. So that's all I really have to say about those 2 things. If you guys have anything you want to add to them.
No, I think that was great. We have to. I think you did a good job there. There's too many things that are going on now where people don't explain. LB is very busy right now, and that's why it did take a little bit of time on these. They had some issues with some of the LC partners. I believe he helped with the investigation and some wallet address pooling and stuff that dealt with the Titan and Orbital and Piggy issues. It's important to remember that all of these guys are working hard on a lot of things. I'll sometimes remind people, more than half of my day is usually just keeping things working that should be working, not even getting to come up with a cool new next idea or whatever. So, Crypsom has done an awesome job with both of these communities getting some cool NFTs out, and you should be starting to get the picture. All 3 of the things we're working on, our own NFTs, our collab with Grape, and the super limited number with Taco, are less than 100 NFT releases. We're not getting in on these degen like release 10,000 NFTs or whatever for $1 a piece or something like that. We're trying to release things with real value that you'll be excited to hold, that you'll be proud to have part of your NFT collection. And Crypsom has worked very hard on these. I have seen them already myself, and I really like the direction they went. So I'm excited for you guys to see them too.
Yeah,
and then
they've only seen like a little tiny picture.
They did get a little sneak peek, yeah.
I mean, but the utility, the people don't understand. Like, okay, I want to just, if you give me a second, I want to just dive into something that's pretty important. And just so you guys know, everybody that's listening in, I do have a new podcast. And again, I was supposed to have Liquid Capital on this week, and LB is so busy that he cannot find time. Like we've had this plan for like 5 days, and every day it's like, oh man, I just got too busy. I know he's building, and the shit that's going on right now with those guys and what they're doing is just incredible. So I know about stuff that some people don't even know about, and it's going to be massive for those guys as well. So it's great for us to be, they're one of our partners, good friends, basically like OGs coming up together. So they've been around for a while. We've known them for a long time, and it's just great to be doing this collab with these guys. And I guess where I'm going with this is, gosh, I could keep going on and on and on about how you should be careful and especially with the team, like how you really need to know your team. And that's why it's good to know Grape and LB. These guys are they're here for the long run, like us as well. So with this collab, when I got to do it, it was like, okay, if we're gonna do these, there has to be some sort of VIP club, because our protocol is basically focused on gold. Well, it's a commodity. It's rare. I mean, there's not a lot of gold in the world. So, like Vu said, anytime we do something, we try to have it be um, have provide. How do I say it? I guess it's just going to be worth some money. I mean, it's going to be useful as well, and utility, right? So utility with these NFTs is very important. And I try to tell everybody, if you're going to get into DeFi and you're looking for just a quick turnaround, um, this is not the place. I mean, you want to be in here for the long haul, because with the utility is going to be, I think that's going to be the most important part with these protocols, because especially after emissions, you have a struggle with what's everybody's nervous about what's going to happen after emissions. And so if you look at their roadmap, anybody's roadmap, you can usually kind of tell or gauge it what's going to happen if it's filled out or not. um, but I think the most important part, like with these protocols, is utility within them. So, and that's what I think that we bring to the table. I really do. We're constantly focusing on utility, constantly. And if you're just gonna, be in it for the pump and dump, it's just not the way. So sorry, I have trucks running in the background. I'm gonna have to mute this for a second.
It's real life.
Going.
All good.
Oh, I run a business too, so I run a full-on diesel business, and I didn't know that I was gonna have 10 people show up when I'm trying to do an AMA. So sorry.
You're good. You're good.
I
No,
love Chris.
we appreciate you getting in for us, even while you're doing the in real life stuff. But yeah, it is a good
Yeah,
reminder
that's
that we
part
got
of
a lot of real people here. Go ahead.
Sorry, that's part of the reason too, where I lost my train of thought there for a second, because I'm sitting here thinking, what are these people doing here? I just decided to do this, and I'm like 10 minutes into it, whatever, and I got 10 people standing here. So sorry.
No apology necessary. And I'm glad you had time to add that in, because I think there is a little bit of a theme to this AMA about trust. And I think it's good that you brought up those two protocols. I have a lot of trust and faith in, both the Great Finance and the El Taco Finance team. And it's starting to be what it's all about in our Twitter spaces last night. I think a couple people, wellness, in particular, had brought up, investing in, people, not just ideas, and that you need both parts to be solid. So I love having those collabs, and I love the scarcity. I mean, you guys are seeing the theme. It goes along with GoldMint. I mean, there's only around 1,400 GoldMint on the market. We are not going to rush this. We are not going to, pump a bunch of things out quickly. It's going to be slow over time, and we want you guys to just be here for the ride and slowly acquire and kind of be on this mission of growth with us. And I think we have something really unique to offer. And I think working with guys like that really, really helps. And then we're also doing our own NFTs. Monkey, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. Just before that, I just wanted to go over, there's been a few questions, so might as well take a second to answer some of them. One question would be, why choose a peg at 1 Pax G versus a fraction like 0.1 Pax G?
That is a good question. When we decided to start GoldMint Finance, we did consider, well, actually we didn't really consider. We had been brought up and we discussed it, but we pretty quickly moved to going for the 1-to-1. So I do understand why it can be a little bit easier for a seniorage protocol to maintain peg if you're willing to go to that fraction, and you still achieve the same mission, of getting your price parity and the ratio that your system desires. But when we put this out here, we also thought about the future. So Pax G is a great token. I highly encourage you to acquire it and hold it. Not financial advice, but I guess pretty close. Um, but we want you to do that, but there is no Pax G on a lot of these other networks. So by really achieving the value of PAX-G over time and solidifying that position. And I would have loved for it to happen in a day, but I'll tell you the truth, I don't care if it took the whole 2 years of our emissions to get there. I mean, we will fight every day. I am concerned about the peg, but I am not worried about it. It is a focus of ours, but we are willing to seek this mission. We know it's difficult. Even trading under peg, I don't know if this resonates with people, we are probably at least 20 times higher in value per token than any protocol that's at or above peg currently. This is an ambitious mission. It is an experiment in DeFi. We wanted to see if these mechanisms could be used not just to achieve prices in the dollar range or things like that, but if it could really be used in the future to represent anything. What if you needed the average price of a car on the blockchain? You know, I really believe that a properly run algo stable with a properly run team can achieve any price point. And we're willing to fight that fight and hoping to have you guys here with us.
Awesome. Great answer. That's 100%. It's really, I don't know, I don't want to say like it's easy, but I guess it seems easier. Like the tokenomics and everything, it's easier to do a peg to something that is a dollar or something in the sense. Like it works out more beneficial. But yeah, we really wanted to achieve something more greater than just being like every other protocol. Oh, pegging to a couple cents or $1 or $2. Like I don't know, it's boring. There's no real value there. It's not the actual mirrored asset that it claims to be, especially like Tomb. And Vu said it 1,000 times. Like, this is we're trying to achieve being the mirrored asset of gold, and that is like 1 ounce of gold. So we definitely strive for that 100%. Another question would be: apart from gold, do you plan to pair your tokens with other stable coins? So I'm pretty sure you mean like other commodities. So I can just say yes, definitely. We love commodities and stable assets and in real life stable assets. So I think you'll definitely see some stuff in the future coming from that.
Yeah, and we've talked publicly about it. One of the ones that's going to be upcoming is a silver mint concept that'll put something out there, pegged to the price of silver. And the exact way and time that that's going to be rolled out isn't formally developed yet, but you're going to see us take that route too. And I'll tell you, we're looking at a lot of other things. There's a lot we can do, and it doesn't just have to be kind of like looking at that list that you would think of like a regular list of commodities or something. We have some abstract ideas as well. I've thought about things like diamonds that maybe aren't exactly traded right now in that fashion, but there might be a route to something like that. Definitely no promises or anything there. But yeah, we are looking at bringing different things to the blockchain that there's a use case and a demand for. Absolutely.
Yep, fantastic. So another question from the same person. Apart from AMA, what other marketing strategies are you using to draw the non-crypto users to your platform and keep them long-term? And are there any rewards for holding your tokens long-term?
Can I speak a little bit on this?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
So here's my thought. With gold, you typically attract traditional type investors. So what we try to do is try to bring those traditional type investors into DeFi. So that's something that I work on, as well as Doc works on, as well as I believe the rest of our team works on. And we've had success for this. So as far as, I'll let you guys touch on the marketing part of it, as far as like videos and whatnot. But as far as one strategy that we have that works really well is bringing big wallet holders into DeFi from the traditional type investments. And as a matter of fact, I'm doing that right now. So I've got a couple of people that I do it for.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that is a good way to say it. So, and that's essentially, because we have chosen to peg to an ounce of gold, we believe we have the ability to do outreach to larger participants who are interested in that type of thing. And there are people that are like traditional investors that are in things like that, that although this is not technically a traditional investment type thing, it is something that you can participate in that might resonate with them. It might resonate with people who have done things like that, in real life or whatever. So we do feel we have that, crossover attention naturally. But as far as how we will do it, we do more than just the Discord AMAs. We do the Twitter Spaces. We also are looking at rolling out some additional YouTube videos. So one thing that some of the people who've been here a little bit longer know, we were going to roll some out earlier, but because we have a new improved UI coming out very soon, I've actually seen it, it's pretty much ready to go. We wanted to set those videos up with what the website was going to look like. Had I rolled one out a week or two ago to kind of reach out to that community, by the time a lot of people saw it, the website would look different. The instructions wouldn't make sense, the places you clicked and things like that. So one thing we're doing is, in conjunction with our UI, you're also going to see us roll out some YouTube videos and some other outreach like that. We even had a great suggestion last night in the Twitter Spaces of maybe doing some things like Yahoo Finance articles. And we've also thought about other larger publications that kind of release that kind of stuff. I know Doc and some of our friends that do bigger participation in real life, kind of trading and things like that, will subscribe to certain newsletters or things like that. So we're going to look at things like that too. And maybe even go as far as, places where you can acquire gold in real life, gold stores and things like that. So we are starting to think about how to kind of reach the joke was in the Spaces last night. He's like, how do you reach more boomers? So we are looking at that as well. So we're going to try to touch on some organic and then even some paid marketing that kind of gets in front of those audiences as well. And you'll see some of those things coming out very soon. And then the other question for yield on the tokens. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't participated, we really went out of our way to make sure that you were able to earn yield in our protocol, whether we were above and below peg, as long as you were participating in a healthy way. So we still do have 4 staking farms where you can acquire share tokens by either staking your GoldMint bond tokens, your GoldMint PaxG LP tokens from Uniswap, or your share GoldMint US dollar coin LP tokens from Uniswap. So we have 4 great farms right now that are paying out share rewards today. I think some of the LP farms are in the 1% day range on the return, used in dollar value, on what you put in there. So there's some great way to earn yield there right now. And then our nodes have been really rewarding for those who participated in those. The current first round did just sell out, but as I mentioned earlier, we'll have more of those coming out as well. So yes, there are ways to stake and earn yield in the protocol right now today.
Nice. Yeah, that's it so far for questions. So yeah, thanks everybody. And also you can raise your hand, come on up and talk with us, ask your question if you ever want to, or just use the AMA discussion channel. And yeah, ask away. We'll answer pretty much everything. So go ahead.
Hey, I want to talk about something too. I'll just real quick. DeFi is very interesting, and I've had this conversation with a couple guys recently, and we seem to have like this circle of people in community, like kind of LC saw it, right? And they capitalized on it and created this circle of trusted partners. So within that circle of trusted partners, I feel like we have to do a pretty good job, as I think we're working on and doing. But everybody as a whole has to do a pretty good job about getting that outside marketing as well to help bring organic, I should say organic, bring fresh people in that aren't necessarily in these projects. They might be in DeFi, but maybe they're not in these projects, and that helps. When anybody does, I mean, it's common sense, but when anybody brings anybody in that's either because of word of mouth, maybe on the street or where you're at, or maybe it was in Discord or whatever. But anytime we can bring fresh, I guess you could say, fresh tokens to come into our ecosystems, it's always better and it's going to help. And it seems like right now, like it's pretty tough out there right now. So, I mean, if you look around at everybody, there's a few of them that are doing pretty well, but man, all in all, it's pretty tough. It's pretty scarce out there right now. So, I guess all I was trying to say is that anytime we can talk to anybody or even share the word about it, I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to, just even in my state, that are like, "Wow, really? Oh, that's interesting. What's going on there?" And then we get to talking, and they're like, they get really interested in it, and so it's just great, and it helps everybody when we get new tokens to bring into our ecosystems. So, anyways, I'm done.
No, that's a great point. You guys can help us too. Talk to your friends. That always helps as well. I will tell you that I have talked to a participant or two, just from in real life conversations. Just happening to chat about what I do, running GoldMint, and they're, that's really interesting. So yeah, it's sometimes that's certainly not the fastest way to do it, but even word of mouth. I've described before. Some of you have heard me talk that there's kind of like three levels of interaction. You can kind of like message back and forth with someone, which is nice on the internet. You can get to know what they do or whatever. And then you can do something like this, where you have an AMA or a voice chat where we talk together, but you get to hear somebody, the tone of their voice, what they're passionate about, and that's even better. And then that third level interaction, is just in real life, getting to see their eyes and the way they react. And I guess it's maybe one sad thing about the internet, that some of that has been lost, but it's nothing to be forgot that, just being excited about GoldMint ourselves has led to some good participants. That really does matter. Actually, it's easy to miss that part, but that's part of it too.
That's how I got into DeFi, man. I mean, I didn't get into DeFi from just knowing about DeFi or finding out about it on the internet. I had no clue. I was like, yeah, I had no clue. And I met Guapo, and then that's actually I had met a friend that's a mutual friend of ours, but originally, like, Guapo was the only reason that I started doing well. So
Yeah.
it does mean a lot, because I wouldn't have known, just like you said, it means a lot.
Yeah, for me it was like Aragon. Like the first time there was like this kind of like boost of like decentralized autonomous organizations, and like they really hadn't been used in the same like DeFi way yet. The like word was just catching on, but it more applied to like people who just figured out how to provide liquidity in Uniswap, and there like weren't even a bunch of D apps that you could then further stake the tokens. It was like one layer of yield. Now it's this crazy rabbit hole that you like do this on this, and then you move to here, and then you stake them in here, and then you take those stake tokens as an X token and move them. It could be a little bit of a rabbit hole for new participants, but that was one of the first ones for me. And then, some of you guys have heard me say this, the first time I noticed blockchain was when Bitcoin passed the price of an ounce of gold. When Bitcoin, it was like they were both like around $1,300 at the time. It's probably like more like 6 years ago. I was like, oh, what is that? Maybe I should be checking that out. So that's kind of what sparked my curiosity. But being there, I didn't participate that day, unfortunately. Um, but you can see how my interests and how those two things have aligned since that day, 6 years ago. I really believe everything I've done is built up to that, from some of the participation with DAOs. When I was doing that, I started talking to some people who were working on like legal framework and the EU and stuff, and they were trying to understand how a decentralized autonomous organization could be like a corporation and have what they called like legal personality and do that, compliant. So I've really had all these interests in blockchain, then in DeFi, and then in the way to release something compliant, and then also in commodities to notice blockchain, because of that reason. So you can kind of see how that all kind of led to this for me as well. Not that you guys asked for that, but my little story there.
That was good.
Good.
That was good.
We've covered a lot of what we wanted to go over today. I don't know if we want to move into the giveaways. Do we have any more questions, Monkey, that are there? Does anyone want to raise their hand? Do you want to come on stage and ask any questions? Anything else in that chat?
Nothing else in the chat. So if there's nothing else, we'll probably get close to doing the giveaway here. I think I already have a good idea what to do. So, yeah, doesn't seem like anything else. Let's move on to it. I think we'll do one share token for a good question, which would have to be Benova. So Benova, you can open a support ticket and hashtag support tickets and send us your address and your Ethereum MetaMask address, and we'll get you over a share token.
Funny. I recognize that like some show from when I was a kid, your PFP. I can't totally place it, but that's funny. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm glad Benova won a share token there, and I definitely appreciate everybody giving us your time this evening and giving us your attention and being willing to participate in our protocol. We want to earn your trust, and we want to deliver on this mission. We want to do it with your help. You've noticed that we have the daily tasks now and stuff like that. We just had an issue with DEX Screener where we couldn't get them to invert our pair, and the community really rallied and like went over into their server and was like, please, help GoldMint and stuff like this. So let's enjoy this ride together, guys. Have some fun and see some growth. It's going to be a really good time for GoldMint Finance.
we got Lettuce down here spamming his hand. I think he wants to come up and say something real quick.
Oh yeah, so, come on up. Ban him.
Yeah, let's
yeah, I just wanted to touch on keeping the community active and just let everyone know that there are weekly giveaways for active participants with GoldMint. I'm not part of the team, but I very much advocate for this protocol, and I love it, and I love the team. So just want to let everybody know, like, there's more opportunities to get into this, and being part of the Discord and being active is one of them. So anyways, that was all.
Awesome. Well said. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was something there's so many things going on. It's hard to kind of remember everything that we have. Like there's literally so many different things to think about in a day, but definitely the Discord prizes, it's super easy. Just engage and hang out and talk. And we love to give away share tokens and rewards for, participation and just being nice in the community and stuff. So, and even, there's other people around that, they have a little special role, the gold elites. We appreciate those people. So yeah, thanks for that, Lettuce.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Heck yeah.
Well, good. That's a good place to wrap it up. If you aren't hanging out already, come have some fun in the Discord, win some prizes there, and we'll be chatting soon. Next Twitter Spaces is going to be next Tuesday, probably. Next AMA next Wednesday. You guys are getting to know the time and the place, so let's keep doing it, and we'll chat soon.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.